Finally, we just said, let's do it. You know, no more excuses. Been talking about this for a couple years.
Honestly, maybe it was COVID that finally made it happen.
10 adults, 7 boys going on this trip. The adults are connected in various ways. Some of us are neighbors, fathers, sons, son-in-laws. We've got Republicans, Democrats. Some of us have Jeeps. Some of us have Land Cruisers. There's a van, all connected by the common thread of just loving the outdoors.
Let's go. Who's got room for my chair?
It was a chance to get away and have some adventure and go do something that seemed to be a way to experience this beautiful state that we have in our backyard and just kind of get away from a world that's kind of weird and challenging, particularly this year.
We're headed from Diamond Lake, which is just north of Crater Lake, through the Cascade Wilderness to the town of Sistersword.
It's about the adventure and the experience and not just the destination. So we're a little bit outside of Diamond Lake. Nice to get off the pavement now. Here come the mosquitoes.
You come in on the backside of Thielsen and then you start dropping down into sort of the valley. We ended up parking in the campground on a hillside and try to make things level, and everybody's got their own setup.
Everybody made it work. You're either camping on the ground or you're camping in a rooftop tent, sleeping in your rig.
The important part isn't your rig or your gear. The important part is the desire to get out there, have the adventure, explore, enjoy the outdoors. That's what we're passing on to our boys.
Everybody knew what they were doing or figured it out pretty quick.
Doing some fish tacos.
To be out there to see the mountains and the rivers and the trees, it brings a sense of peace and a calm. You know, getting away from the everyday cares and worries of the world.
Once you break things down to those very basic things, okay, we started here today, we need to get to this point by the end of the day. A lot of the difficulty that's out in the world that you have to come back to at some point, it kind of fades away for a little bit.
Waking up in the morning and there's like the mist, there's the quiet. It's really that time to really soak in the energy of being outdoors. And it's a thing that when you're stressed out from work, you're stressed out from family, you've got all the stresses, you think about those mornings and that quiet time and how it just feeds your soul.
I just want to know how big Bigfoot was.
Are we talking like 5 feet or are we talking like 7 feet?
No, like 9.
Like 9 feet. 9 feet.
Because he was above me. I mean,
Shoulders.
obviously I was on the ground.
Right. Frozen.
Fetal. So it felt like he was
Like someone's in our camp, draining our fluids. Like, is that my gas cans? And I'm like, I just grabbed a flashlight and shined it out there.
He was in fight.
You're up
You
high. I'm down low. I'm in the trenches. He's up in the crow's nest, able to shine. It took an apple from one of your guys' rigs and was just going for it right over me. I mean, it was like standing. Could have been a deer.
We're a group of friends that live in a state that has a pretty unique culture, varying differences in political views and religious views and cultural views. But we found a common bond and passion for the outdoors.
We have so many different people from all walks of life, all different ideologies about the world, but similar value systems in the fact that we want to pass something onto our kids.
The key was just this mutual respect for the goal and the vision of the trip, and then also this respect for each other.
Having everybody with different walks of life, people are able to bring so much uniqueness to a trip like that, and so you kind of get to just watch the group form, you get to watch the camaraderie form, and you get to really spend time with the uniqueness of other people.
It's a little warmer than the last one.
When we stumbled upon this amazing lake spot, and a lot of the boys go out on paddle boards out on the lake, and just the whole scene of the sun setting and being on this perfect setting, it was great.
Everything has come to pass, sand inside the hourglass.
Out here, these boys are trading screens and devices for paddle boards and pocket knives. And you can see, even on the first night, just around the campfire, the walls start coming down and they start opening up and they start being more connected to people around them and things around them.
You know, it just becomes more rich. You can see the depth in it, and it's amazing how easy that actually does happen. You know, that screen gets pulled away. It's pretty cool.
One of the cool things about this trip was the father-son dynamic. Now, I don't have any sons, but I've got 2 daughters. My oldest daughter is married to Aaron, who was on this trip. Aaron's been a great mentor to some of the younger kids who were on the trip, watching their relationships develop, even to the point where, you know, they can even poke fun at each other.
What are you guys doing?
Putting the zip line on the drive line. When you drive, just gonna go boop, 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 boop. It's gonna be so fun.
I got something under my car that's rattling, and I want to check it out real quick.
Copy, Wolf.
That was all foggy. I didn't hear a word. What was that? He's going to check what's underneath his car. Evidently, there's something rattling.
One of my lines got cut. I don't know.
One of your lines got cut?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna need a lot of tools. Scissors.
What if it was the Bigfoot eating apples? What in the world are those? Never mind, it's not a line.
Is it your brake line?
No, it was just some big zip ties that I didn't put on.
Weird.
That's weird.
What?
Anyone got scissors or something?
We're on this dusty road for hours, and so you can imagine we were dirty and dusty. Come up on a creek like that was awesome. Little time to relax, get wet, cool off, play a little bit. It was great.
Did you lose yours? I lost my right one. I lost my right one. Hey, can I borrow your football? Yeah. Here, thanks, man. That'll work for me.
So I went down and my Croc fell off, and I thought I lost it, but then I saw this one, and then this one, and then my Croc was right next to it.
Dude.
That's $25 each.
Thanks, 25. That is awesome. That is awesome.
You know, we made that call that this place by the river is really beautiful and really cool, but there's kind of a lot of mosquitoes here, so let's go up. Because it felt like, hey, we're climbing to something that's going to be pretty cool. And it turned out that it was.
And there's room for us to set up right there. Perfect. You should go run over and look. I mean, it's. Is it epic? Why am I so excited? The views were epic. And we hit this sunset at the top of this peak, and we could see these views, and we all hiked up to a high point, and nobody talked for like at least a good 10 minutes.
The greatness of the outdoors and how much is out there to explore and to see, and then knowing this is my backyard.
Each night we kind of knew where we would be, but let's find the coolest spot we can get to. And when we find it, we'll know it.
On the last day, we found a great meadow to camp at, and a few of us decided, hey, let's hike over to one of the lakes here. As we're going, there was a little bit of banter about this rim up at the top of one of these mountains, and they were saying, hey, maybe we should do that. It's almost a challenge that Brandon was throwing out to them, and sure enough, those boys didn't take it as a joke. They were like, let's do this, we got this.
Being able to see the stoke that they felt when they were scrambling up these rocks and headed up to Tam MacArthur Rim. It was pretty special, you know. It got steep, but the steeper it got, the more they were like, let's keep going. And I mean, the only thing that stopped us was the sun setting. We ran down shale field. I took them on a proper adventure, and they were stoked.
I grew up with my dad and my grandfather taking me into the woods, and a trip like this just reminds me of the legacy that they passed on to me and the legacy that I hope to pass on to my kids.
Every once in a while you get a group of people and it comes together and it just clicks, and I think that's what we had.
You get around that campfire and it's just, there's a sense of oneness.
I think there was a sense of accomplishment. Look what we did. There's miles that we traveled. We did it off the grid. The boys had an experience that they won't soon forget. The men had an experience that they hadn't had yet in their backyard of this amazing state in the Northwest that we live.
You want to stay out there forever when you get out there. That last night was pretty special, but also bittersweet.
It has to end, right? But this one was a really good one, and it's going to be a story that our kids tell their kids.